Nereah Amondi.
Yes, I grew up in public service and I feel what I'm doing now is where I'm best.
I'd like to announce that you are all on probation. It's an individual battle to the end.
Kenya's future depends on me being Miss President. I think by the time I got to the last probation, I think I was actually smiling getting up there.
And the contestant with the highest number of votes is Nereah.
It has gone to Homa Bay County! Nereah!
I'm Nereah Amundi Oketch. I like being hard, you know, and so many people will find me loud. Many people would feel like I come on a little bit too strong. I grew up in Kisumu town. I went to Lake Primary School and Kisumu Girls High School. So I'm proudly associated with all the great achievers from that school. And I am currently Miss President.
From Homa Bay County, Nereah Amondi!
I'm quite humbled that Kenyans trusted me with their vote. I think for me, when I won, I cried tears, and a lot of you now saw that the first person I wanted to hold was my baby, because Miss President journey has been a long one since January, and I was in the academy expecting my baby. So I have a newborn baby boy. So I really wanted him to share in that with me. And I wanted Kenyans, and especially Kenyan women, to see that we can be achievers, we can be leaders, we can be mothers. So for me, it was a moment to celebrate motherhood above everything else.
I dedicate this to Kenyan voices, every one of you who has watched me through the show.
All through my life, I've always been at the forefront of something. I mean, I remember the first time I went on stage was at the Kisumu Social Hall. I can't forget this. I was about 10, and I had been selected to go and recite a poem. So I got on stage, and over 500 people, that's 1,000 eyes looking at me. And I gathered courage, I just took a breath, and I said what I had to say. And I did so well. And so all through school, in primary school, I was always the class monitor. I was always the one who wanted to be ahead of the pack. Even when I was in the estate, I would still be out there with the boys, with the girls. I would take lead on anything. And so I always felt comfortable not being left behind. I've always been somebody who takes leadership. And when I got pregnant at about 17 years, I actually had a bit of a setback. I mean, nobody thought that I would be able to come back from it, because not only did I get pregnant, I eloped and got married. So that was not nice. My father thought that was the worst thing I'd ever done. So that was a big mistake. But it's very interesting because I had 2 more girls. My firstborn is a girl, then I had 2 more girls after that. So by 21, I had 3 girls. And I was a housewife, so it's wake up, the baby's crying, one on diapers, and one is carried. So I really had my hands full. When a woman says they have their hands full, I really know what they mean. Then, of course, I had to do my budgeting. So I was even a leader in my own house. So I keep telling women, even when you're doing your budgeting, when you're making sure your meals are planned, when you're making your kids clean, that's still leadership. When your husband comes home to a clean house and a warm meal, and you can actually give a report on what each child is doing, and you can actually intervene when children are fighting. For me, women are leaders, even at the home. And after about 6 years, I looked at my life and I thought, okay, I have 3 girls. What do I want for them? Do I want them to, be pregnant at 17, get married, and put their career on hold, in as much as, the home is also important? But I thought, with all the challenges I was experiencing, I said, okay, as a woman, let me get out there and see what exists. Then I started remembering my days in school. I was an average student. I had goals in life. I really wanted to achieve something. So I decided to go back to my father. I keep telling people that you cannot uplift a woman if a man is left behind. So I went back to my father, and he actually spoke to my husband, and he said that my daughter is not cut out not to achieve something in life. She's a mother, yes. She has to achieve something in life as a professional woman. Because my own mother went back to school when we were 9 children. Yes, and I'm the 7th born. So I actually saw my mother going to school. Yes, and adult education for me is something I've seen, and I embraced it. So after that, I got a job. My first job was at Telepost Sacco. So that was many years ago, 99, that's 20 years ago. So I was, from the kitchen on a Sunday to Monday, I'm reporting. I think it was the 2nd of August. So it's very much 20 years ago. And I was trained by, through learning. The good thing is I met some very good friends. One of them is a friend up to now. She's called Caroline Aluach. We have held each other all through and through. And I learned rather quickly. I think within 6 months, even our then supervisor actually noticed that I was quick. I could learn very fast. And I remember, one incident after a while being there, about 3 years, I had my son. My son came on about 2001, so that was 6 years. But 3 years in the middle of working there, I was moved from the accounts office to the filing room. And so for everyone else, that looked like a demotion. That looks like punishment. And so when I went there, everybody was like, will she work? And so I took it on. The one thing that I keep telling people is, no matter where you are put, you can shine. So there I was, moved to registry, pick files here and there, alert members on when a file is dormant. And so the one thing that I became good at, and I tell people you have to specialize, was in 6 months, I was actually the go-to person for files that are dormant and have been lost and nobody can find them, So for me, I actually did well, because I found something that I could do well when people thought, I am done and I've gone to the worst possible place. So I keep saying that everywhere you work, everything you do, you will shine. You have to make that effort. You have to find what you can do well and what people will appreciate you for. And I didn't last a year, so very quickly I was moved back to my accounts office. And then around that, after my son came now, that was in 2001, SACCOs had by then received authority from government to open the front offices, the banks. And so Telepost SACCO was opening an office just within the building. And they asked for everyone who was interested to apply. So I applied for a clerical position there. I got the job, but it came with a rider. So the letter was very clear that you have to have a KATC. A KATC is an accounting technician certificate. So I would go to work in the morning and go back home at midday to breastfeed my baby and have lunch. Then head back to work and do my afternoon assignments. Go back home at 4, feed my baby, have tea, then run down to town and then get to Thika Road, that was CPA Center. Be in class until 8 or 9. And then my husband would, depending on if he was busy, he would come and pick me. So I realized that you really have to work for something. There's nothing you can get. And as a woman, and I urge every woman in Kenya that you must speak up. if you're in a situation and you need to succeed, then you must make it known that you must succeed and you want to succeed. Otherwise, nobody will know what you want to do.
Shamala had acquired that team, and the only person who was left vulnerable, actually the two legal minds were left vulnerable.
I had a very, very strong-willed mother-in-law. May her soul rest in peace. And she actually led me on a very interesting path, because about 2 years before she passed on, she would bring me into what she was doing and let me know, this school, I'm a patron, I mentor women like this. She used to do business in Nairobi. When she moved back home, she continued, farming. And I realized that she was actually doing some kind of transition. And she had identified that, we could work together. And so every woman then needs somebody who believes that, they can do one good thing. And when she died, that was way back in 2013, and I was based in Nairobi back then, and working for the development sector. I used to manage grants for health programs, for devolution grants, education, so all that. Then I started now going to women who I knew, my village, my mom's village. I would look at the women groups and how they do their small savings and loaning. And then I would talk to them about what kind of business they're interested in. And then they would ask me questions. So what do you think I could do here? How do I keep my books? Do you know someone who can give me a loan at a low interest? So I sort of became the business advisor, starting to take on a lot of what my mother-in-law used to do. And then I was, co-opted as a member as a patron of a primary school. I also went on the board of a secondary school. I used to do the standard fundraisers whenever we had a community or social causes. So all that, they were coming in, but I had already started doing a lot of politics, even when I was staying in Nairobi, way back in 2004, 2005. So it's been a lot of years of being there. So not only have I been there doing mobilization, I've also been there on the streets. So when it calls for putting on a t-shirt and demonstrating, I'm quite competent, by the way. I'm quite confident in all that. And so in 2017, of course, I was campaigning. By then, I used to work for a project, a public health project in Kisii and Migori counties, very close to home. And so I used to go home every weekend, to touch base with my community. I had a group of women that I was linking to a partner, friend that I knew, who was giving them training on entrepreneurship, on health, on how to, financial literacy. So for me, that was very exciting. I was very close to home. So I got close to the campaigns. And after, all was done and the party list was out for the nomination, I was humbled for ODM, my party, to consider me to be nominated into the assembly. And so I actually had to make a very, very serious financial decision. Because I remember my family asking me, are you sure? Because everybody knows what an MCA earns. And they all knew what I was bringing home as a partner in the family. And really, they were not very happy. So I keep telling women, sometimes it's not about the money. It's about what you want to give back to the community. So I took a huge pay cut. And I said, okay, God will provide.
I am glad, therefore, to present the documents of our party, our registration certificate symbolically.
2 reasons why I wanted to get onto Miss President. One of them was I really wanted Kenyans to see a different face of the members of the county assembly, especially women. And number 2, I wanted to create networks, both of local women and international partners. I was hoping that somebody would identify the work that I do as an opportunity for them to invest in my community. For me, winning became a bonus because all through the show, I was myself. I would do my work, even if it wasn't it wasn't 100%. If I was put to task, one of the things I would do was still keep my composure, still remain true to who I am, and defend my thinking and defend what I feel I should work. And that's what I think a leader should be.
We wanted to attain universal healthcare, improve capacity of healthcare workers, improve coverage of trained healthcare workers, and the agencies would be national government doing policy development and county governments doing service delivery.
I want to make my space a different kind of space for everybody to admire. I think for me that's one thing that I've always wanted doing. I want to be that kind of person that if I come into your life, I can actually impact your life, positively in a very short time.
It was an intense environment, the sleepless nights. Miss President Leo, I call him pressure, presidential pressure.
I want Kenyans to embrace me as somebody they can work with, because for me it's about impact. So I look forward to a journey where I'm working with Kenyans from all over the country. I may not be able to spread that thin, but my priorities are being set. And in the next 6 months, I can only ask that Kenyans have that patience to also recognize what I've been able to deliver. So in the next 1 or 2 months, I really want to start, with counties, either Nairobi, that would be one of the, big areas, looking at the statistics, and also counties in the Western region. And Mombasa County, that's where I'm going to be doing a lot of work in partnership with Media Focus, because there's a lot of work on countering violent extremism at the coast. And then I want to reach Turkana, because Turkana is a water-scarce county, and I've admired what some of our leaders have done just to be able to make sure there is water. I identify with the fact that there is no water, because I come from a place where water is something that we keep running out of. And so I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to having sleepless nights. Yes, yes, I'm very much looking forward to it. As Kenyans have trusted me with their vote, I think I owe them, and I'm sure that I owe them commitment. I owe Kenyans stewardship, because resources are going to be entrusted to me. And I want Kenyans to be able to recognize that a servant leader not only invests in your community, but invests in you.
I am proud to stand here as a leader. And I commit that I will live up to the covenant that I put out today morning.
My team, I think they got frustrated the last night, in the night before the 23rd, because I actually had even dreamt that I was last. The day of the debate was also it was a nerve-wracking day. Then the day of the finale was another one. And then I told them, you know what, let me go there. So I got my nice dress done, and got my makeup done, and I told them, let's go. So they said, you know what, why don't we have a speech written, we'll give you in a nice package, in case you win, in case you don't, and whatnot. So they were drafting all these nice, sounding words, thanking who and protocol. And I'm like, guys, relax, just relax. What I want us to do is to go in there and say, we have done our best. And so when I took that microphone, I simply just spoke from my heart.
I thank you very much, and I thank God. I have lost a lot of sleep. I'm going to dedicate this also to my son. I think the world can see that women, we can lead, we can be mothers.
I didn't want to speak when my baby was not there, because he has walked that journey with me, really. And when they brought the baby, I calmed down, because I was very emotional. But I managed to, I think, I gathered myself at some point. At some point, I even pulled off a nice smile. I pulled off a nice smile, and it took me a while even after that.
Thank you, Kenyans. Let me take 1 week off from all phones, but I'm here for you. I love you all.
But the very next day, I was with my team, and I told them, let's have a meeting. Yes, let's have a meeting. I need to know how we are proceeding with this. So they're like, you said you needed to rest for a week. I'm like, no. You guys did not get the joke. No, no, no. You guys did not get the joke. This is where the work begins.
Ladies and gentlemen, from a program made here in Kenya, only, first time ever, locally and internationally, the first Miss President from Homa Bay County, Nereah Amondi.
I've also reached out to my worthy competitors in the top 5 and also beyond, because I believe it is only the top 5 who understand the magnitude of the responsibility that we all have, because I don't believe this is something that I would be able to do alone. And so I know in as much as there is a sense of loss, it's important that I take leadership and make that difficult phone call and have that conversation. I have come across women who can be president, but that just leaving your comfort zone and saying, you know what, I am going all out, I'm getting into politics. So the issue of resources for women has been discussed a lot, but I believe that's a challenge that can be tackled quite easily, because even through my campaigns, I didn't have the resources necessary to do a nationwide campaign, at least reach every other county. So I relied on volunteers. So I can tell those women, so wherever you are, if you have a network of volunteers that believe in you, you can get it done. All the women who were in the academy from the top 70, a lot of them are women who are, they are achievers, very high achievers. We have young ones, we have middle-aged ones, we have, the mature group, but all of them have achieved, so much. And just dive in. Dive in. If you need floaters, we're going to bring them to you. If you can swim, we're going to join you as a woman. And so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I don't want to lose the work that I've done so far. It has had challenges of resources. So I still want to expand the work that I've done. I also want to still continue forming those partnerships. But something very important to me is being a Miss President, then I would like to roll a lot of my programs into one organization that can then be focused, that every Kenyan would know where to find and how to reach. And I want to open up my space, for those young women and even older women than I am who want to have that voice.